I hope we are. That's what I do every single time. I have to turn this off because otherwise we're going to get that dreaded echo word. How is everybody doing? Hopefully we are up and running. Let's see, on the thing here, it says excellent. What does it say? Excellent connection. That's a good thing. While we're waiting to get verified that we are live, welcome Jay Mantooth. What a cool name. Jay Mantooth. Welcome to the team. Just got all signed up as a member. Very, very exciting. Very cool. Today's topic.
I'm finally on. Hey.
You've been on the whole time.
I know, but it takes me like 2 minutes to get my stuff. It
I
doesn't
see.
pop up right away, and I'm always like,
Oh, you're on a little delay.
yeah.
Okay, Smoky Bones. Okay, that must be the hashtag from Corey tonight. Thank you, Corey. I was listening there at the end, and I did hear him mention Five Guys. We haven't been to Five Guys in a while. I haven't eaten fast food in like a month and a half.
I don't think we've been to Five Guys since Corey was here.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Because we pretty much got locked down as soon as he left. He came here and ruined it. He came here and ruined it for everybody. Deuce Newcomb decided to become a member too. This is exciting. We're getting members. We're getting our usual super chats from Lefty3213A. I don't mean to say it that way as if to say it's like not something special. It's very special. But he even says, this is a tradition now. How is the frog, Lisa? How's Ribbit doing?
Ribbit is doing great. Except when John came home, he jumped into the little, is it like a suit?
It's a drain.
Yeah, he jumps into it. And we have a lid to go over it, but it's his home now. So we just leave it off.
I fear that frog is stuck down there. And you said you think it's okay, but I think it's stuck down there. I don't think that
I feed him
little
extreme, and he's fine.
She does. She's not kidding either. She feeds that frog extreme. But yeah, he's part of the family now. So got a lot to talk about tonight. I actually did some preparation tonight. Did a lot of preparing for tonight's stream. So I hope it all works out for you, the viewers. I do want to give everybody an opportunity to get in here. And while we do that, I want to talk about something that I'm very upset about, very disappointed about. I've been talking for a couple of weeks now about this new series that you and I are going to be doing. And wow, lots of stuff getting deleted. Way to go, Candy. You are on top of things. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about this series tonight because, at this point, it just seems like I'm trying to, pep it up, which I am. But at the same time, I'm disappointed because I told you last week that I told the audience and you of course knew this, that I wanted to start this new series this coming Tuesday. And I hope you weren't too excited about that, ladies and gentlemen, because unfortunately, because of the current situation in our world right now, we are not going to be able to do it. We're going to do the series. Don't get me wrong, but we're not going to be able to do it this coming Tuesday. And there's a very particular reason for that. Last Wednesday, I actually announced on this live stream that I bought my new camera. I bought a whole new light rig. I bought a whole new green screen, which is 10 feet wide. I did the whole thing. And I ordered a new camera. Did I mention that? Well, guess what? The camera's here. This is my new camera. Don't even look too long at this thing. This is my special friend. Okay? I'm like Gollum with the ring. This is my precious.
And ask him who gets the other one.
Well, you think you get the other one, but you've had the other one all along. But this came, I ordered Wednesday. It came on Friday. It took 2 days, but everything else is taking forever. Yeah. Canon 90D, by the way, in case anybody's wondering what this is. I haven't even gotten a whole lot of opportunity to mess with it. I mess with it a lot, but I haven't gotten an opportunity to really film with it yet and get anything productive yet because we haven't gotten all of the other stuff, including extra batteries and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, what I'm getting at is I'm super excited to have this new toy, this new camera. Yeah. But the new series is going to have to be delayed by 1 more week. And I'm sorry about that, but it is. So we're not going to have it to be able to do it this coming Tuesday, but Everything's supposed to be coming in over this weekend. I actually even like paid extra for expedited shipping or whatever, but we're all so used to putting in an order from Amazon and 2 days later it's at your door, or sometimes even the next day it's at your door. That's what happened with this. The microphone I already had, by the way, but the camera, that's what happened with the camera, which is the most important element of the whole deal. But the other stuff is supposed to get here Sunday. So basically what that means is I'm going to be doing more preparation, and we're just going to record a bunch more than what we expected next Friday. A minimum of 4 10 Things episodes and 4 episodes of the new series. I'm also going to ask you, ladies and gentlemen, watching the stream tonight, and channel members and subscribers, and Gage Faria that just decides to put up a super chat while I'm talking here. I know there's others I missed, but
yeah.
I'm going to need your help naming that series. But here's the thing. I want to get a couple episodes out. It doesn't have to have a name right off the bat. I want to get a couple episodes out, have you all get a chance to see it, and then you can help me to name that series. How about that? Okay. So anyway, new series not going to update or not going to upload this Tuesday. It will not go up until the following Tuesday. And that's because we haven't shot it yet, because we don't have the new stuff, but it's coming. So don't worry. And yeah, there we go. There's another thing in the What's Going On segment that I wanted to address today, but you don't want to address it. So, you don't want to talk about what I talked about a second ago, wanting you to talk about the little things that were wiggling.
Oh, are you talking about my discus?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So my 125, I have, how many discus? I have 10 discus in there, and I have 3 sets or 3 pairs that just keep pairing off. And every time they do it, they end up eating the eggs. I mean, of course, because they're in a tank with a bunch of other fish, so they get scared, they eat the eggs, whatever. And sometimes they eat the eggs just because they're not good parents. But I had a pair, I guess about 5 days ago. They laid eggs, fertilized them, did a great job. And this was the pair that I least expected to do good. I had another pair that I was going to choose to go in the 75 to be my breeder pair. And this pair actually, they were so protective that they had wigglers.
They got to the wiggler stage.
They got to the wiggler stage, and they were doing so good until today. So I feel like they're going to be the pair that goes into the 75. They'll be my breeder pair, and I'm really excited because they did a good job. They were super protective, but I mean, what do you expect? I mean, I didn't expect it to go too far.
So protective that they thought eating the eggs would be better than letting the eggs get eaten by other fish in the tank. It's weird how that works.
Well, and they did it on the intake, so it really wasn't a good place to begin with. But
well, here's the thing about those fish, though, because I don't think we've ever talked about it to the general audience of our subscribers and normal viewers to our channel. Lisa is actually going to breed these discus intentionally. That is, if you remember, I did a video where we moved. The last video I did was about, or the last Tuesday video was building the racks.
yeah,
I didn't get to name it. Lisa has a great rack. Bringing the 10 gallons down here. Well, we have since brought that 75 down. And I said in those videos, or in that video, and I said it in live streams, that it was going to be a big top secret project with that 75. Well, that 75
yeah,
is going to be a discus breeding tank.
I'm just going to have 2 discus in there, a breeding cone.
Originally, it was going to be 2 other ones, but now that those have shown to
Yeah.
be so promising, you probably put those in there. And it's when she talks about them being the ones that you didn't expect, it's a
Right.
female that's like the size of an IHOP pancake,
It's hilarious.
and the male is like half her
Half
size.
the size.
It's adorable.
So funny. That's
So,
okay.
The other pair are both big, robust, fat, gorgeous. But this one is kind of like the oddball pair. But hey, if that's the one that makes it happen, then that's a good thing. And our goal with it is not to become discus breeders. We're not looking to start a business or anything like that, but you want to breed them so that you can have more discus, but also we'll probably give the fry away.
Yeah.
We'll wait till the weather really breaks. We'll wait till there's no pandemic happening in the world, and we'll send some fry to people. We'll let them get, 50-cent piece size or whatever.
Much bigger.
And then we'll send them to people. We'll do discus giveaways.
I was actually thinking more along the line of going to clubs that weren't too far away
That could be a thing too.
and putting them in auctions or something. But
See, that would be to get people to go to the clubs. We'll
Well,
be like,
I'd
hey, we're
rather-
bringing discus there,
Yeah.
so you can go there and
I'd rather
get...
interact with people face to face so that I can talk to them about my babies that I'm giving away. I'm not gonna.
That's very cool, though,
Better
and
than
it's
shipping
fun. It's exciting. I mean, we've bred guppies, not really on purpose. We put them in the tank. They bred like almost all guppies do. We haven't, had a fun breeding project in a while, so this is exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I've bred angels before successfully. I've taken the wigglers from fish before, and I've raised
Angels.
them just using the baster, the turkey baster, and then I teach them how to swim. But I want to actually have the discus do their job. I don't want to do the job for them. So that's why I want to put the discus in a tank by themselves, the pair, let them do it themselves. And you know what? If that pair ends up not doing a good job, I have another pair. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to be the ones.
The fascinating thing, if you don't know this, folks, about discus, we cater to new fish keepers. New fish keepers might not be aware of this with discus. A lot of fish have their interesting quirks about the way they breed. African cichlids hold the babies in their mouth. The females do. Angels spawn vertically, but it's not really all that exciting. It's cool, but but the discus fry actually feed off of the slime coat from the parents.
Right.
They pick at the parents. If you look at the thumbnail for the video I put up on Sunday, our 10 Things episode, that's actually the thumbnail is that a discus female with a swarm of, I don't know if it's a female, it could be the male, because they do this with both parents. Basically, the parents take turns. The female will swim around, and the fry will all be swarmed around her, pecking at her slime coat. And that's what they eat for several weeks, I guess.
And
And they go back and forth.
Dean just recently, he was able to do that successfully with the wild caught pair.
Nice.
Yeah, they look good too.
That would be fun. And of course, it'll be all documented in videos and stuff like that. At this point, it might only be members only videos. I don't know, because we've got 2 series that we're going to be running at the same time. But I think that's going to be fun. I think it's going to be exciting to see. Of course, we've seen it before, but to do it, I think would be a lot of fun.
I have to say something. Josh Harding, he says, don't forget about me and Shannon at PVAS meetings. Bring those discus. We want to bid on them. And you guys are the ones that I plan on giving the discus to first. So yeah.
I saw Corey is here, and all he said was howdy. At least that's all I saw. What is it with the smoky bones? Because we have smoky bones here, but we didn't go there when you were here. I was surprised that the hashtag today wasn't 5 guys. It should have been 5 guys, but anyway. But yeah, that's Smoky Bones is good. I mean, it's a barbecue place. We've got Dickie's. That's where we took Rack.
Oh yeah.
But we took Corey across the street to 5 guys. Anyway, let me get through these real quick, and then we'll get into today's topic. Natalie O'Malley with the $5. I just wanted to let you know, I just built my first tank stand using your design, and OMG, it's awesome. Thank you so much. That is cool. I don't know if it's the design that I did several years ago or if it's the one just a couple of weeks ago, but either one, pretty much the same. And that's very cool to hear. I'm glad it worked out for you. Fish Tank Barn with the $5 ice cream fund, cat food fund. Nothing for
Thank
John.
you, Mike.
Well, I guess the ice cream's for me. Sapphire Dragon, I hope I'm saying the name right, became a new member. Welcome to the team. Gilbert Sanchez also became a member of... I don't know why I talk like a DJ when I read these. It's weird. Gilbert Sanchez, welcome to the team, my friend. Let's see. Gage Faria, that I mentioned that earlier. Thanks for the amazing content. Thank you with the $2. Matthew Vanderkoy. Hope I'm saying that right. With the $5, got to catch my breath. I've been enjoying several Fish Fam live streams. Nothing against any of the others, but this has to be my favorite. You two are awesome.
Oh, thank you.
I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna do the Bill Murray from Zombieland. Thank you. That's what he does and then he says, "That's what we do," or what? That's why we do it. I don't know. Whatever. Zombieland's one of my favorite movies. If you don't like it, you know what you can do. The famous aquarist became a member. Are you famous? That's pretty cool. Who are you? Are you an A-lister? Are you somebody we would know? It's famous. That's fun. Anyway, Eric Furlow with $5, weekly $5 for y'all. Happy Thursday, John and Lisa. You know, that $5 could be a membership. I'm just saying. And then you could see all of those videos that we put up on Friday. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to be a salesman. I'm just, just putting it out there. If you're going to send $5 anyway, might help out there. You get more for it is what I'm saying. And then we've got Butch Gorski thinking about coming home after work tomorrow with a 125 gallon.
Ooh.
Big clap for that. Wife
Nice.
already told me no. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I think it's worth the repercussions. Need to add only 5 tanks currently. Cough. Nice rack. It might have been, who knows what he was complimenting there, but it doesn't matter because he paid us $10 to say it. So you know what? Hey, good for you.
The funny thing is,
the fish tank rack, both racks are nice. Anyway, what?
John brought home, the first tank he ever brought home was a 125, and I had no idea. Like, he said, do you mind if I get a fish tank? I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Fish are cute. I didn't realize what a 125 was. Like, I didn't know it was 125 gallons of water. Like, it didn't register in my mind back then. So he pulls up, he's got this giant tank, and I'm like, oh my God, where are you putting that thing? And yeah.
I'm going to tell you where I put it. The first house that her and I rented together was a big, giant farmhouse. It was actually a very unique house. What did it have? Like 3 fireplaces? It was not an old house.
It looked like a Victorian house.
Yeah.
But it was new.
I hate the guy that owns it. And if I ever see you, anyway, the guy that owns that house is the one that stole all of my woodworking tools. But anyway, that house had a bunch of fireplaces, and the 125 that I bought, the first tank that her and I got together, I put it right in front of one of those fireplaces.
I was so mad at him.
And there was nowhere else it was going to go. I mean,
you completely ruined the look of my living room.
But it was gorgeous. I mean,
no, it was
beautiful.
It was. I'm glad he did it.
And Butch, the thing that I would say is that there is an old saying in the man code, and that saying is, it's easier to beg for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission.
Hey, what was it, like 2 months later?
You bought a tank?
I bought my first 55 gallon.
Yes, you did.
Yep.
Yes, you sure did. So you know what? It all works out in the end. So Give it a shot. I hope it works out well for you.
Here we are.
And let me know next week how it goes for you. Because, I'm worried about you. But Jamie McDonald with the $5, $5 for 5 guys. Yeah. Thank you for that, because five guys is not cheap at all. Guppy Guru became a new member. We love guppies, so we're going to love Guppy Guru. Lefty, thank you. With the $2 bobblehead fund. Yeah, I have not bought a bobblehead in a long time. And I'm gonna
a couple weeks?
No, it's been a while.
Okay.
And the last one I bought, it's so amazing. It's incredible. Maybe I'll show you at the end of the live stream, because it involves a curse word. But it's not a bad word. It's the A word. It's not horrible. But I don't want to say it at so early, because we need to be G-rated at this point. But I love it. It's one of my favorite bobbleheads that I have. Deuce Nukem, I cannot see what is attached. Let me see if I can find it here, because there it is. Lisa is looking particularly good tonight because nobody has said that. Shame on everybody for not saying that.
Thank you very much.
It's very nice of you, Deuce. That's very kind. Okay. Let's get into this this topic here, unless you have anything else you want to say before we get into it. Oh, yeah, you do have that thing. Yep.
Yes. I checked the P.O. box today, and I'm struggling. I got a letter that I'd like to read to KG Tropicals. My name is Reagan. I live in Ontario, Canada, and I am 11 years old. I have a betta fish named Marvin. That's so cute. He is a red crown tail betta, and I've had him for almost 6 months now. When I first got him, I had him in a fish bowl, and then I realized that was wrong, and now I have him in a 3.5-gallon aquarium. He has proper filtration, LED lights, and plants for him to hide in. I like your videos because they are fun and entertaining to watch, and I've learned a lot about different types of fish and the nitrogen cycle. And I just thought that was the sweetest thing ever. I love it when we get, I like when we get those kind of letters from children.
It is amazing. And I've been talking to her. I don't want to act like I've been talking about it forever. I've been talking to her for about an hour about putting together something to send out to these people that send us. I'm not going to send out a little care package to a 45-year-old dude like me that sends us a letter, although we appreciate that. But when the little kids, we got one from a 10-year-old, which we still have. We got one from this 11-year-old. I'd like to send them something. I don't know what we're going to send.
I really appreciate letters from anybody. So.
Well, I do too. And I don't mean to sound like I don't. I definitely do.
It's extra special
to
me.
A child would be a very big deal to receive just a little something from us. I don't know. But I caught a couple of quick questions here in the chat that I do want to address real fast. Lena H asked, do angels need a cycled tank? The answer to that is every fish needs a cycled tank. So yes, they definitely do. So yes, research the nitrogen cycle. I've got a bunch of videos on it. Everybody's got a bunch of videos on it. So yes, definitely do that. Get your act together before you get your angels. Angels are very hardy, but every fish needs a cycled tank. And then Noah Trim, a member, said, would you add other teams' bobbleheads to your collection? The answer to that is, it depends. It depends. If it's a former player from the Nats, like even if they were only on the Nats for a year, like Gerardo Parra was a hero last year in the World Series run. If he went to Japan, he's going to be in Japan for a couple of years. If he comes back and he's playing for the Rockies, sure, I would love a Gerardo Parra bobblehead, things like that. I mean, and maybe, I would take Bryce Harper. I've got like 5 Bryce Harper bobbleheads, but I don't think I would want I don't know. I'm not going to say it because I don't want people to be mad, but yeah, I mean, of course I would love to have a Mike Trout bobblehead. I'd love to have a Aaron Judge bobblehead, a Mike Stanton. Is that his name still? Mike Stanton. I think that's his name. Anyway, he changed his name from Giancarlo. Anyway, there's quite a few that I would definitely like. I love bobbleheads. But I'm only going to buy Nats bobbleheads, if that makes sense. So, okay, let's...
You want a Corey and a Bob bobblehead, so...
Well, but yeah, that's different. Somebody said, go Astros. Yeah, I mean, at this point, since they lost the World Series to us, I guess we could get some Astros bobbleheads. That'd be fine. I would love a Verlander. I mean, who wouldn't? You know what I'm saying? If the Jose Altuve one is only like that big, that'd be really cute. I would love that. But anyway, we're getting way off track here. Somebody mentioned Baby Shark. Yeah, there is a Baby Shark bobblehead out there.
I know. I can't believe he's gone.
And well, that's Gerardo Parra. That's the one I was talking about a minute ago. And I have mentioned to everyone in the household, I've shown everybody that Gerardo Parra bobblehead with the Baby Shark, because I got a birthday coming up, but I don't know if anybody's taking the bait from it. Anyway.
Wait, really? I don't even know what month it is. And you're talking about a birthday.
I know. It's fine. I don't care about my birthday. Anyway, all it is,
April.
you know.
I think tomorrow's May.
It is. So for last week's live stream, we got our topics from a post that I put up to channel members that asked them, what should we talk about? I didn't do that again this week, but the reason why I didn't do that is because there were some that we didn't cover last week that were actually very good topic suggestions. And one of those, let me find it here because my screen is so full of so many different things. One of them was from this person here. And of course I can't read it now because I've got so many windows open. Nathaniel Brosius. Oh man, I know I didn't say that name right. As far as big fish, the best ones to start with. Now, we could probably do the entire rest of the hour on this because this would be a good opportunity to actually do a whole thing about keeping large fish, keeping monster fish, and we kind of will be. But I could read off a list to you of big fish that I love. And we could talk about big fish that you love. But I think that it's our responsibility to do a little bit more than that. And first, say to all of you, first of all, I keep seeing the super chat notifications. I will get to you. I promise. I just don't want it to, rob. I don't want to say rob. I don't want it to be all we do. You understand what I'm saying? I don't want to be that guy. So if you're super chatting or becoming members, I will get to those. I think we have a responsibility to, before we talk about big fish, talk about what the fish keeper needs to know about keeping big fish, because it's very simple. It doesn't take a degree. You don't have to go to any school. You don't have to take a class, but there is a right way and a wrong way to keeping monster fish, or they don't have to be monster fish. It depends on what your definition of monster fish is, but big fish, period.
Yeah, some people might think monster fish, Oscars, arowanas, but then you've got koi and comet,
That's very true.
Totally different.
And nobody would put koi in the category of monster fish, but they should be. They can get 3 feet long and live 30 years.
They get big.
So yeah, there is a certain level of responsibility that the fish keeper needs to have if you are going to keep these large fish, whether they're large cichlids or they are large, actual, no doubt about it, monster fish. I would put red-tailed catfish in that category. I would put arapimas, which I don't even think should be available in the hobby. Arowanas, I would put, not the Asians, because they're not as big, but the silvers definitely are in the category of monster fish. These fish that they're monsters. It's pretty obvious what a monster fish is. What I don't want to happen here is we start talking about these big fish, and almost all of these fish that we're going to talk about, I have kept in my days of keeping fish. Days. I've only been keeping fish for a few days in my career as a fish keeper. I've kept all but one of these. I don't want to give anybody the impression that it's okay to just run out and buy any of these fish that we're going to talk about tonight, because these fish take special care and they take a special setup. If you've got a 55 or you've got a 75, there's only a couple of fish, actually maybe only 2 that we're going to talk about on this list that I would even entertain putting in that tank right there. And even that would be, in my opinion, too small. But what I'm saying is, understand everything that we talk about today is going to get big. And we're talking real big. It doesn't mean you have to go out there and get a 10-foot long tank, or you have to build a 2,000 gallon pond, or you even need to have a 360 gallon like I have in my garage. You don't have to go to extremes, but these fish get very large, some bigger than others. And we want to make sure that you're doing the right thing, because unfortunately most people don't, which is why we did a video last year which I think is like the third most watched video on our channel, of fish that we believe should be out of this hobby because they are, because of this, because of what we're talking about. People buy them not knowing what they really are and not knowing that they get as big as they get. So anyway, now you know. I'm not telling you if you got a 29-gallon tank, run out and buy any of these fish on this list. There is not a fish on this list that I would recommend in anything under a 6-foot tank, but quite a few of these on this list need even bigger than that. So know that going in. I'm not giving you a blind, hey, put these in whatever you want. Not going to get accused of that. But let's have some fun. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's talk about, these are our favorite monster fish, big fish. Monster fish people might not even consider all of these fish monsters. But these are fish that get big that I love and that you love. I think you love most of these. I think there's a couple on here that you're not a huge fan of, but
We'll see.
the first one, I have not kept this fish in a very long time, but I did have them back in the day. And what we're going to do here is, the point with this is to talk about fish that are big fish, because that's what was his name? Nathaniel. That's what Nathaniel asked, was what's a good big fish to start with. The reason why I'm going to talk about these fish is because these are very hardy fish to keep. I'm not going to tell you they're nice, because some of them are nasty. I'm not going to tell you they're nice, but they're forgiving when it comes to water parameters, when it comes to things like that. So as your introduction to big fish, these would work out really well. Just make sure you have a big enough tank for them. The first one is the Ballast Shark. You can't see it yet until it pops up on there, but I actually took the time
way behind
to go to Shutterstock and get all of these photos. Shutterstock had all of them except for 2, which I just robbed off of Google. But anyway, these are all Shutterstock images here, folks. I paid big money for these images for you to be able to actually see a photographic representation of what we're talking about here tonight. Ballast Shark. Now, this is a fish that not a lot of people would put this in the, these get really big category. But, they do. These fish can get over 12 inches. Now, I'm not going to do a care guide on all these fish. All I'm doing is telling you the fish that we like, that we have kept, and that get really big, and in my opinion, would be good beginner big fish keeper fish. Really? That sounded actually pretty good. The Ballast Shark is awesome. They're not necessarily known to be really aggressive. They grow big fast. And this is a fish that if we were to redo that video I was just talking about earlier, fish that should be out of the hobby, I would put this one on there now. Okay. We only did 10. Maybe we should. It's like the third watch video on our channel. Maybe we should do another one. But this one would be on there. And the reason why is because, like a couple of others that are on this list, these are readily available. I mean, when Walmart was selling fish, you would see those in there. Yep. They're in Petco's, they're in PetSmarts, they're everywhere, and they're about that big when you buy them. And when you have a fish that's that big and it's really cute and it has really pretty black outlines on their fins, and you put in the name of that fish shark, people automatically want to flock to that. And so unfortunately, a lot of new fish keepers that are setting up their first 10-gallon tank, they will end up going to these. And that's unfortunate because they can get well over a foot. I've seen these giant before. Yeah, me too. I don't know that I've ever had them get over like 8 or 9 inches, but I've seen them at, a good 12 inches. And that's pretty gnarly. So the Ballast Shark, these are not in any particular order. They're in the order that I found them on Shutterstock. So the Ballast Shark is going to be the first one to talk about here tonight. Next one on the list, I have one of these right now. In fact, we have 3 right now. One that we're going to talk about and 2 variations of this. And we're talking about plecos. Yep. Now, Plecos are everything from small ones that only get 4 inches to the monsters that can get over 2 feet. So when we're talking about big fish here, obviously we're talking about the commons, the royals, the vampires, the ones that get big. We've got 2 vampires and a common.
The vampire pleco doesn't get
10 inches.
Big. But it's not massive.
10 inches is a big fish. I don't care who you are.
It's still not like your common.
No, it's definitely not that big. And the royals don't get that big either, but they still they're good size. Fun, interesting story. I shipped a 12-inch royal pleco across the country. I shipped it across the country and it's shipped perfectly. Didn't break the bag.
That's shocking.
That's like when you pick up a royal pleco or a common pleco that size, it's like picking up a helmet. I mean, it's like a solid piece of, it's weird. And especially the royals. I don't know. The royals feel different than the commons. I was nervous when we shipped that fish. That was like, the guy ordered it and I was like, or he didn't order it. He asked me through email. I really want that because I showed it in a video and I was like, I really don't want to ship this. And he was like, let's do it. So, but it shipped and shipped properly. Anyway, the best thing that I can recommend to anyone that is considering getting a common pleco, if you haven't seen it already, I wish I had thought of this, but I didn't plan on talking about this. Maybe one of the beautiful moderators that I have might be able to dig this up and share it. Otherwise, you can go find it on your own. It's not that hard. My friend Steve Poland did a video last year, which actually we linked to and showed a clip of in the video I've been talking about all night about the common pleco and the problem with the common pleco down in Florida. It's an incredible video. And it pretty much went viral in the fish keeping community. I think it's approaching 1 million views now, if it hasn't already gotten there. Absolutely incredible video. And when you see that, you will look at the common Plecostomus completely differently than you do now. You will look at those and go, yeah, that's a monster fish. It's an unbelievable video. So definitely go check that out. StevePoland is his channel, Steve Poland. Good dude. I miss him. He doesn't really upload anymore. But he's recently passed 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, I miss that guy. He's a good dude. But anyway, that was a great video that he did and you should definitely check it out before you go and buy your common pleco. But if you are prepared to keep large fish, the common pleco is just a staple in this hobby. If you have a big enough tank to accommodate them, they're an amazing fish to keep. Some people think they're boring. I think they're cool because they look like little dinosaurs. And I like a fish that is easy to take pictures of because they just kind of sit there. But when they do go to work, it's cool to watch them do what they do. Now, let's move on to the one that you're not going to like. I mean, you just look at it and say, you're not a big fan of this particular fish. Mm-hmm. Can you say what it is before I even put it up? Big fish that you aren't a big fan of.
Pacu?
No. This one gets even bigger than Pacu. It's the giant gourami.
Yeah.
Giant gouramis are an acquired taste. They definitely look like a alien fish. There's no doubt about it. You know that blob fish that you see in memes all the time? It's the closest thing to that you're ever going to find.
I just feel sorry for them when I see them in aquariums, like the one at
House of
Tropicals. It's just like...
That tank is it's a 180-gallon 6x2x2. Is that 180? It's a 180-gallon tank, and it looks like it's in a 40 breeder. I mean, it's a
I feel
monster.
So sorry for
that fish is this big around. And what's its name? Like Tilda or something? I forget its name, but
it even had a name.
it does have a name because there's a sign on the tank that says, "Hi, my name is." And
I just feel so sorry for it.
They are probably the biggest fish of all of the ones that we're going to talk about here tonight. They get absolutely massive, and they get massive very fast. They are one of the most unique fish, but they're also Definitely a fish that comes with a lot of personality, kind of similar to others that we're going to talk about. They're a cool fish. She's not a big fan. I would have them. I know Joey's had one recently. I'm pretty sure he still does. He's got it in a huge tank. I mean, if I had something gigantic, I would consider those, but I'm not going to put one. I mean, I've already got 6-8 fish in that tank. I'm not going to put one in with my arowanas and all that. They just get way too big for that. But they're easy to keep. They grow very fast. They got a lot of personality. They're a lot of fun, and they look like big old aliens. But if you really do need to have a massive tank,
Just get a honey gourami.
it's not that big.
Just get a honey gourami if you like the look.
Yeah, if you like the look, they look exactly like that. But anyway, yeah, I added the giant gourami basically just to troll you because I knew you didn't like those. Next is one of my personal favorite fish. There's not many fish in this hobby that you could actually say are more unique than this fish. And every single time people see this and they have not seen this fish before, their immediate response is, "Oh my God, what is that?" And it happens to be the fish that I used for the thumbnail of this video, and that is the clown knife.
Yeah.
This one in the photo that you see here is actually an albino, which is an even more magnificent fish. But the clown knife is such a bizarre looking animal. It's just, it doesn't look right. Like, it looks like an alien. We've talked about it multiple times. Who's messaging me during a live stream? It doesn't look like it's supposed to work because the major finnage is on the bottom and it's just squirrely looking. It's a really cool, very unique, kind of boring fish. I mean, when they get bigger, they just kind of sit there. So if you got a common pleco and you got a clown knife, it's not going to be a lot of action in your tank, but you want to talk about a conversation starter. I mean, it's about as big a conversation starter as a stingray would be. Stingrays are not on the list here because this is supposed to be easy fish, right? Easy, big fish, clown knives are definitely an easy fish to keep as long as you can handle their size. Now,
I think they're kind of ugly too.
oh, how dare you. Here's the thing. There is something I have had happen to me with a clown knife, and it was devastating. I don't know if you remember it. I'm sure you do.
I was there. It was crazy.
And this is something that you definitely have to think about. This is something that is unique to this fish when it comes to this list, and that is you're going to want, if you keep clown knives, to have, and this, it's not only because I had this happen to me, it's common in these fish. You're going to want to have a significant amount of distance between your lid and your water line in a tank with clown knives, because if they are spooked, they will jump. Arowanas will do the same thing. Yeah. But the thing is, arowanas are going to stay at the top of the tank. And so if they go to jump out, they don't get a huge amount of momentum. They're not trying to jump out of the water and get a bug off of the tree branch like you see in the home aquarium. They're not usually doing that. But clown knives, I've heard this story from many people and I've had it happen myself. They're going to stay usually around the bottom of the tank and they're just going to kind of sit there and look cool. But if they get spooked, they will go straight up. And we had it happen to me. Mine was about 14 inches long. He was magnificent. And he went straight up to the top of the tank, rammed his head into the lid and basically broke his back. And he was like a horseshoe.
Yeah, he just was like this in the aquarium.
And it was instantaneous. It was boom. And then he was in a horseshoe shape.
He just stayed like that. It was like.
It was a nightmare.
It was weird.
And so, yeah, I'm very upset about that still to this day. But if there had been a space between, it would have helped the chances of that happening.
I like the little black ones. They're cute and they're
that's the ghost knife, though. Yeah. The one that looks like a feather. Yeah,
they're adorable.
I would have put that on this list. They're not as easy as some of the others that we've talked about, though.
No, I wouldn't.
But that's another one that is, without a doubt, one of the most unique fish.
Yeah.
And they get a lot bigger than people think they do, too.
They look better than those.
Okay, I would agree. I didn't say this was the prettiest fish on the list. I just said it was cool. So you don't have to be so mean about it. Jeez.
Jeez, put it in a tank with a gourami.
Next on the list, I got to reach out to my cichlid friends here and go through a few cichlids because there are some magnificent large cichlids. There's a lot of magnificent large cichlids, and there's a lot of them that I did not include in here. And it's not because I don't like them. It's because I just didn't want to be reading a list throughout the entire live stream. I wanted to do this topic and move on. So I couldn't include them all in here. But the first one, one of my personal favorite large cichlids would be the Feste or the Red Terror. I love this fish. And I got a picture of the Green Terror too, but I forgot to put it on here. But the Green Terror is another one. But the Red Terror, the Feste is, look at the picture, one of the most magnificent fish you're going to ever see in this hobby. Absolutely gorgeous. This is not a Shutterstock image. It's something that I just completely stole off of somebody off of Google. So hopefully I don't get hit for copyright on that, but I don't think somebody's going to really hit me for that. But it's a beautiful photo. Whoever took it, you did a good job. It's beautiful. It has to stay small. I can't blow it up any bigger because it gets all pixelated and all this kind of stuff. But this is another gorgeous large cichlid. There is a reason why so many people keep these large monster cichlids alone, and Feste are some that you will see quite a bit alone. I remember J.W. Heiser used to have a gorgeous Feste, and I think Cichlid Man 09 had one too. If you go back and look at some of their older videos, Cichlid Man 09, J.W. Heiser, awesome. Pretty sure they both had Festes before. Might still have them. I don't know. But absolutely gorgeous large cichlid. And then we move on to another one of my personal favorites and King and Queen Cichlids favorites, the Jaguar cichlid.
I like the Jaguar cichlid. We used to have one.
Yeah, they are awesome.
Cool.
It's another fish that's not going to be all over the place. They don't have a ton of personality, but they're really, really cool. And they're called Jaguars. They're called that for a reason. It's because of the pattern. I would assume it's because of the pattern, the colors that they have. They're an amazing looking fish. They get really big, not as big as another one we're going to talk about in a second, a couple of them that we're going to talk about, but they do get to be a very large size. They're gorgeous. If you're looking for a cichlid that has an abundance of personality, I don't want to spoil the future fish we're going to talk about on the list, but there's one in particular everybody knows I'm going to talk about as far as personality goes, but
I know.
don't you dare.
Can I say it?
Not yet. Wait till we get there.
Okay.
Everybody knows what that one's going to be. In fact, put it in the chat. You already know what it's going to be, but the Jaguar doesn't have a ton of personality. They're not going to be like a water puppy like the next one that we're going to talk about. They're going to kind of keep to themselves a little more. Every Jaguar that we've ever had has always kind of hung out like back behind a piece of driftwood or something. Not necessarily hiding, but just kind of out of the way.
Ours didn't.
Well, when it was feeding time, he would come out, but he would just kind of keep to himself all the time.
I think it was the Red Devils.
It may have been, but
I think it was the Red Devils.
they get big. If you want to breed them, they have huge spawns, but they're really, really cool. We've never bred them, but I love the Jaguar cichlid, and I would love to have another one someday, but I currently don't. And the next one on the list is the one that there's two that everybody who knows me knew were going to show up on this list. So yeah, people are already putting it in the chat. They know what it is, and you know what it is. So why don't you go ahead and say it while I put the picture up?
The Oscars.
Of course. Of course it's Oscars. Listen, as far as I'm concerned, there is not a better aquarium fish to keep. I'm sorry. I know people are going to be like, whatever, they're just Oscars. Oscars are, they're I love Oscars. I don't know what else to say about them. I love these fish so much. My two that I have are, of course, the most beautiful ones out there. But
of course.
I absolutely love them. I cannot wait for them to be right there. But, you know, we had to go and have a virus. But in my opinion, the Oscar is the best introduction to large fish in the hobby.
I'd say that's probably the number one. Yeah.
Yeah. Because they are so tolerant of water parameters. And when I say tolerant, I don't mean, and we've said this in a lot of videos before, and I hope people haven't taken it the wrong way. When we talk about fish in our 10 things videos and we talk about them being tolerant of water parameters, there's been some people that have taken that to mean they can live in filth. And that's not what we're talking about. What I'm talking about, everybody watch. Let's all point at her and laugh. Do it. I'll take the camera off. I took the camera off of you. I took the camera off of you. Go ahead. I took the camera off.
It went away.
All right. I was really hoping for an opportunity to make fun of you there, but we're not talking about they can live in filth. What we're saying is newer fish keepers might struggle with keeping pH at the right level or keeping, I don't even measure KH and GH and all that kind of stuff. But if you get into that kind of stuff, it might be difficult for a new fish keeper to dial in on exact, precise water parameters. Their temperature might not be 80. It might be 77. Oscars can tolerate that. That's what we're talking about when we talk about these fish are tolerant of wide ranges of water parameters.
Right.
And as a matter of fact, an Oscar could survive in conditions much more than that. Pretty much any pH and almost any temperature. But don't go abusing your Oscars, folks. These are extraordinarily hardy fish. As hardy, if not more hardy than goldfish. They're just little tanks. So I don't know that there could be an argument for a better fish for the new big fish keeper to keep. And it is one of only, what did I say? 2. Yeah, it's one of only 2 fish that I would even entertain keeping in a 75-gallon tank. I've done it. I didn't like it. I've done it. I've had Oscars in 75s before. I'd much rather somebody have them in a 75 than a 55. Oscars and Feste would be the only ones that I would say you're not committing the ultimate sin if you have them in a 75. But put them in something bigger than that. Let's give them at least 6 feet, because believe me when I tell you, you get this fish, you're going to fall in love with it. It's going to be your new pet. You're going to look at that fish the same way you do a dog or a cat. Maybe not you. And you're going to want to do the best that you possibly can for that fish. So yeah, my number one on the list as far as the easiest fish to keep for your entry level big fish, it's going to be the Oscars. But there's more. There's more on the list. The next one is, I don't know. Okay.
You don't know.
I do.
It's
I
your
just
list.
couldn't find where I was on the list. This is another fish that is very, very striking, and it gets way bigger than people think it does. I have kept these. I love them. I don't know that I've ever had one. I know for a fact I haven't had one reach its full potential, and that would be the Peacock Bass.
Oh.
Again, easy fish to keep. Some people think they're ugly. I think those people are crazy because it's a bright yellow fish. Come on. You got to love that. And the photo, wait till you see it when it comes up there. This is an unbelievable photo. Shutterstock. If you're a YouTuber and you're not a subscriber to Shutterstock, this is what you can get if you become a subscriber to it. It's expensive, but it's worth it. Absolutely amazing fish. They get gigantic though, and they get way bigger than people think. They're 12 inches or so, maybe like the size of an Oscar. Oh no, these fish get way bigger than that. So definitely do your research before you get them. I'm not putting a peacock bass in anything shy of 8 feet.
I'd rather have a datnoid.
I love datnoids.
Because I think those things are ugly.
Datnoids are another, shame on you. Datnoids are another one.
Are beautiful, but peacock basses, ugh.
Datnoids, Budakofry, that's how I say it. Which they're not at all similar. I don't know why I just lumped those two together, but I don't think people realize how big datnoids are capable of getting too.
Oh,
But
I
datnoids are
know.
really hard to find, and you don't see them all that often. I'd love to have one at some point,
The
but
prettiest one I ever saw was at the Baltimore Aquarium. Remember? Oh my God, it was
yeah,
gorgeous.
and they were like that big.
yeah,
they were
gorgeous.
giant.
But they
Yeah.
were in a huge, giant aquarium.
Public aquarium.
Yeah, huge.
Peacock basses, though, I mean, these fish can get the size of arowanas, and they're hard. They're thicker and bigger. They are a massive, massive animal. So, you know, do the right thing if you're going to keep them. You can buy them at the pet store. They're going to be about that big. Don't fall for that. You know, your Oscars are that big too. But the difference is the peacock bass is going to get that big and your Oscar is going to get about that big. So, but
Ugly.
easy. Shut up. You're being mean. Easy to keep as far as water parameters go. Every fish on this list, except for maybe the Ballast Shark. I don't know. I haven't had any aggressive Ballast Sharks, but all of these fish that are on this list, the number one rule is if it can fit in their mouth, it's going in.
Yep.
So you're not going to put these fish, you put a peacock bass with a baby Oscar, the Oscar's going to be food.
And somebody made a really good comment about the datnoids. They're very slow growers. So like,
Yep.
yeah, they get huge, but you might not want to put them in a tank with an Oscar, like the
That's true.
same size, you know, starting off, because we had datnoids at the fish store, and I feel like that little datnoid stayed that small forever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was
Yeah,
in a fish store tank, but
they're probably similar to frontosas in how slow they grow.
Yeah.
They are slow growers, and yeah, like you said, your Oscar
it's going to grow much faster.
and your peacock bass and some others that we're going to talk about, even the clown knife. I mean, almost all of those fish are going to outgrow the datnoid. So yeah, you do need to watch out for that too. And again, this is why a lot of these fish, unless it's a 10,000 gallon aquarium, you're going to see these fish alone, or maybe with a couple of other fish. Some on this list, including the next one that we're going to talk about, you almost exclusively see alone, unless they're breeding. The Feste, a lot of times you'll see alone. Jaguars. So, but peacock basses, I don't think they're as mean as those other fish, but if it can fit in its mouth, it's food. So, and that applies to all of the fish on this list. So just be aware of that. Not only do you need to be equipped to handle these fish, not only with the size of the aquarium, but also with the filtration system that can handle the load, because some of these fish's poops are like the size of humans. I mean, they are big poops. So you got to be able to control that. It is nasty, but I mean, hey, welcome to Monster Fish. Next one on the list is here specifically for my friend Scott McLaughlin from King and Queen Cichlids, because he pretty much lives and breathes by these fish.
Is it a king beta?
No, that would be the Parachromis dovi. One of the most striking fish, maybe not the most colorful, but they scream power. They scream just, you know what I mean? Some people call them the wolf cichlid, by the way. Dovi are amazing. One of the, I've never done this, but I know a lot of people who have, and they've done it, including Scott. They're not the most difficult large cichlid to breed. Easy to find pairs. In fact, there was a store that I went to that has since closed down and moved. And anyway, we don't need to get into that. This store had, you've been to this store, had a breeding pair of dovi. Now these cichlids, folks, when they have spawns, they have like 300 babies. It's not like, you know, your angels, and angels breed every 2 weeks, but they have smaller broods. Whereas these, if you go online and search for dovi breeding, you'll see photos of them with just a swarm of babies around them. Jaguars are the same way. It's incredible. But this is the epitome, in my opinion, of a manly fish. Like, I know, wow. I did my manly beta tank.
You went there.
This is a manly fish if I've ever seen a manly fish. It's the the Parachromis dovi. And the name, and they even named it a wolf. I mean, it's just...
That's it. I'm getting one just to be manly.
We got red terrors, jaguars, peacocks, dovi, wolves. We got all these cool names. Anyway, yeah, the dovi. But again, this is not a beginner fish by any stretch. My assumption is somebody that's looking to get into big fish already understands how to keep an aquarium, already understands how to treat a fish fairly. And if you're ready to graduate into the big leagues of keeping big fish, the dovi is a great choice. I just love them. Anyway, I didn't even get into it. This store had a breeding pair of dovi, and I swear they had 40 tanks with dovi fry in them. Wow. And you'd go by one tank and the fry would be that big. In the next tank, they'd be that big. And the next tank, they'd be that big. And all the way up to like 2.5 inch fish.
Same with the flower horns.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of cichlids are that way, but this particular,
that store, that's what I'm talking about. They had the flower horns like that too. Because there'd be one like this big and it'd be so cute and adorable. And then there'd be one like that big. And I'm like,
yeah.
Ew, it's ugly.
Those weren't bred by them though. Those were the dovi they bred.
Oh, gotcha.
But the flower horns, yeah, they brought them in all different sizes. But yeah, I love dovi. Corey did a video with a guy. I don't remember the guy's name, but he had like a 600-gallon tank with just a pair of dovi in it. It's just so cool. It's such a cool looking fish. Not the most glamorous fish. You know, the Feste has bright red and the Peacock Bass, kind of an ugly fish, but it's bright yellow. The dovi, it's brown and it's got blue on the fins. It's a neat looking fish, but it's just more of a manly fish. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I love dovi. Now we've got to get to what everybody knows. This is the last one on the list. So you know what it's going to be, right? It's the first monster fish I ever kept. It's a monster fish I'm currently keeping.
Is it an arowana?
It is. It is indeed. You ruined it. Geez, I wanted it to be a surprise to no one. Everybody knew it was going to be an arowana. And folks, tell me about that picture. Look at that. I can't take credit for that. I wish I took that photo with my fancy new camera, but no, that's another image off of Shutterstock. Unbelievable fish. Now this is another one, just like everyone that we've talked about on this list, some more than others, but this is another one that if you are not ready for the big leagues, if you're not ready to be able to house not only the size, but the bio load, the food expense, the maintenance level, and the power of this fish, then don't even entertain the idea of getting one. I did an entire video that nobody watched. And the reason why nobody watched it is because I did a terrible thumbnail. I don't know what I was thinking. It was really bad, but nobody watched this video. But the whole purpose of this video was to talk about how powerful some of these monster fish are, because people just think of them as big. They don't think of them as the power that these fish have. My arowana, people still call me on this and they're like, oh, you're full of crap. But it's the truth. You saw it. You were there. You know I'm not lying about this. I had 1/4 inch thick lids on a 240-gallon tank back in, what was it, 2011 when they...
I don't know. It was Kenzie's 4th grade birthday party.
No, it was Father's Day.
I know. And she had a big, remember there was 14 girls that spent the night that night?
Oh, I don't know.
It was yeah.
But it's, the glass was 1/4 inch thick lids, and I had a brick on each one, and the fish broke the lid and was out of the tank. And the two, if you think about an aquarium lid, you've got that like piece that's like this big that you open up to feed the fish. And then you've got the big pane in the back. It was the short one in the front that the fish broke. There were 2 pieces in the bottom of the tank, and the fish was hard as a brick on the floor. These are extraordinarily powerful fish. All of the fish on this list. I mean, the common pleco has armor on it. So It's very, very powerful. You want to talk about a tank buster. Almost all these fish are. It's irresponsible of me to suggest any beginner fish keeper keep these fish because of the bioload, because of the size, because of the power. However, the question was asked, if we're getting into big fish, what would be some of the big fish that you would suggest? That is why I've brought these up. I'm not proposing that new fish keepers keep these fish.
I remember my arowana, before I put it in the tank with your arowana, it went through my lid, and she was only about that big. But my lid was a standard aquarium lid, not, support it with anything. And she was maybe a foot, and she jumped out. And I remember because I was on crutches. I had broke my ankle, just had surgery, and I had to get this arowana off the floor and put her back. I called her Pip, and put her back in the tank. But I'm so glad I was there when it happened, or else she would have just died right there on the floor.
Like mine did.
Yeah.
The other thing too that happened when that happened with my fish was we had a cart, which we still have. It's in the garage now. It's a on wheels. It's a cart that we would wheel around with all of our fish food on it. And we would take the lids off and we would go through and just pull from these little containers of fish food to feed all of the tanks in our garage. And that cart was sitting right in front of the tank. And we would go through so much fish food so fast that we didn't have lids on all of it.
There was stuff all over the floor.
The fish, when it jumped out, landed on that. And we're talking about a almost 30-inch long silver arowana, landed on all that fish food and just blew it up. Like there was food everywhere. And of course it was wet, so it was all crusty food everywhere. Oh, as if the fish dying on Father's Day wasn't bad enough.
And then
it made a huge mess.
And then to go in there and find it. And I had all those little girls over from the night before spending the night. And then I was like, oh, I've got to go tell John. Oh,
Yep.
That sucked.
I was brushing my teeth Father's Day morning when you told me that. I'll never forget it. It was devastating. But yeah, that is my list, our list of great big fish to start with. But I'm going to say this again because I feel a responsibility to say this. Do not, if you have a 55-gallon tank and you want to get into keeping big fish, don't go out and buy any of the fish that I just said. If you have a 75-gallon tank, don't do it.
Unless it's an Oscar.
But still, no. I want people to do it right. Put them at least in a 6-foot tank. That's going to be, look, in today's world, I mean, okay, I know times are tough right now, so don't take this the wrong way. But in today's world, a 125-gallon tank is not as out of reach as it used to be. I can remember when you had to be wealthy to get a tank that size. Now you can pick one up, $350. It's a lot of money, but most of us can do that. You get a little Christmas bonus or something, or tax return. It's not out of reach like it used to be. Just wait until you can get a tank like that, and then you can get your Oscars. Then you can get your Feste. Then you can get your, don't get an arowana. Don't get a Peacock Bass. Doveye.
Don't get a gourami.
Not a gourami. You can get a common pleco. You'd be all right with that.
Get a little honey gourami.
But another reason why I believe the Oscars are the best ones on that list is because they would be the fish that I would most comfortably tell anyone that multiples can go in a tank, and they're probably going to be fine. You got a 6-foot tank, you can go get 4 of them and put them in that 6-foot tank, and most likely those 4 fish are all going to get along no problem. I have never had Oscars be devils. I mean, I know there's going to be stories out there, and I actually entertained the idea about doing this live stream today about how you can have one bad experience and just label all fish that way. I've had people say to me, I'll never own angelfish because they're just too mean.
Same with like dogs.
Sure. Yeah. But it's like, I've never had a mean angelfish. I've been keeping fish 26 years. I've never had a mean angelfish. I mean, that's not a breeder pair. But yet you get people that are like, oh, I bought an angel one time and it killed another one of my fish. It was so mean and I'll never keep them again. But anyway, there might be somebody out there that has had a devil Oscar, but most of them aren't. Most of them are gentle giants. You put a bunch of Danios in there with them, they're going to die. The Danios will die. And so will your cardinal tetras and your guppies. And because anything that fish can fit in its mouth is going to be food. And so if you want to call that mean,
they might be best friends when they leave the pet store with you, because the Oscar's probably going to be about this big, and they'll be good buddies, and then they'll start disappearing.
We have a video coming out very soon. I'm going to make the announcement right now. This is going to be a fun video. I can't wait to shoot it. I can't wait to edit it. I can't wait to put it up. It's a 10 things episode, but it's only going to be 5 things, and it's going to be Steve and Karen. If you don't know who Steve and Karen is, you'll find out. But my hope is there's 600 people here watching. My hope is you all know who Steve and Karen are, but we did a series called Tanks of Our Lives. It was a lot of fun. We're still going to do it. But this 10 things episode is basically going to be Steve and Karen take over. And it's going to be the stupid things that fish keepers say. So obviously it's going to be Steve saying the stupid things and Karen correcting him on those stupid things. And one of them has to do with what you just said. You know, you buy an Oscar that's 2 inches long and a bunch of cardinal tetras that are an inch long. Oh, they'll never fit in his mouth. The second that fish can fit in that Oscar's mouth, it's dead. So anyway, understand that with all of the fish that we just talked about, you need to do the right thing. You need to put them in a tank that's the appropriate size. You need to understand how an aquarium works, understand how powerful these fish are, do the right thing, and give them a good life. There. Now, that was fun. Let me get to these real quick because I am so far behind, and I'm sorry. You know, this one person put in a super chat at 9:06. Wait a minute. Nope, I did get that one, didn't I? Yep, I did get that one. But the famous aquarist, yeah, we got that one too. Let's see. I'm not as far behind as I thought. Jamie McDonald, we got that. Guppy Guru, Lefty. Yeah, okay. I'm not as far behind, but oh, yes, I am. Jeez. You people, I tell you what do you mean, you people? Deuce Nukem? Okay, HEPA Aquatics with the Canadian $6.99. Been waiting for the Discus stream from Lisa. Tips for my 220-gallon Discus tank. Yeah, there's going to be some Discus videos coming as soon as those bad boys start breeding and we're able to make it happen. But
well, we've got to get this tank cleared up. I have a 75-gallon tank down here, and it's just taking forever to clear up. It's had like so many water changes, but once we finally get it cleared up, they're going to go in there.
Yeah, we might have to go to extremes to get that tank clean. But thank you for the Canadian $6.99. Hans Jean Louise, I hope I'm saying that right. And this was at 9:22, and it says, finally got a chance to watch your live stream live. I hope you were able to stick around this long to hear your shout out. If not, I feel real bad because it's $10. That's a big deal. Yeah. I just got into this hobby, and you guys were the first I found on YouTube. Most entertaining and very knowledgeable. What a treat to hear that. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, I hope this wasn't too late. Maybe, just maybe, you were able to watch what you didn't get to see on replay, and you get to see this. Thank you so much. I hope that everyone who does get shouted out late, I hope they understand why. I don't want to just be reading super chats the entire time. As much as we appreciate them, I don't want to be, I don't want to watch John's live stream or Lisa's live stream because all they do is thank people for super chats. I don't want to be that person. So I hope you understand. Demax with the $34.99 Canadian. Maybe see some ponds this year. Beta sorority pond. Wouldn't that be fun?
Ooh, yeah.
The pond is not going to happen this year. We are really hoping for next year. But there's some personal things that have to happen before that's even going to be a possibility.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would love to do that. But you know what? If those personal things have not fallen into place by then, maybe we could do a tub. That seems to be a thing now. Summer tubbing. But we'll have to see. I don't know. Multi-Tank Addiction came in with the $5. I mentioned how lovely Lisa looked 2 minutes into the stream, by the way. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Well, I shouldn't be thanking you. You should be thanking him. Spicy Recan. I hope I'm saying that right. Hello. I have a 75-gallon planted CO2 running on FX6. I have 10 neon tetras, 14 guppies, 6 panda cories, 1 angelfish, and a BP pleco. What else should I add? Fish food. That's a lot of fish. I'm not saying it's too much. 24, 30, 31, 32. That's 32 fish in a 75-gallon tank. Now, I understand.
There's FX6 going on.
You got an FX6. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
And you got plants. That's a good thing, too. But my question is, why do you need to add more? That's 32 fish in the tank. I mean, that one back there is a 90-gallon. It's probably got that many fish in it, and that's way too many. But it's probably going to stay that way because we don't seem to be doing anything else with it. And they're getting along. They're fine. But that tank gets dirty fast because there's so many fish in there.
Yeah, I know. I clean it.
That was not a dig at you. I promise it wasn't.
No, I know.
Multi-Tank Addiction came in again with the $10. Happy early birthday, you young whippersnapper.
Aww.
I'm like a year younger than him, I think. Or he's a year younger than me. I don't know what he's talking about, but thank you so much. That'll go to the Bobblehead Fund because it's for me, not for you.
That's fine.
Kaler's Aquatics
You can have a birthday before me. It doesn't matter. You get older first.
Well, I'm never going to not be older than you. I mean... What am I, 13, 14 years older than you? Something like that? Kaler's Aquatics with the fun jumping Freddie Mercury purple haired looking guy with the yippee. Kaler's Aquatics is coming up next, by the way. It's 13 minutes left in the stream, and I'm just now finally mentioning that. He's going to be live tonight taking Rat Cross's spot the River Life spot at 10:30, so be sure to go over there and do that. Watch that with us. Elizabeth Hughes with the $10 Canadian. What is each of your all-time faves for fish? As in the one fish that will always be in a collection. Ladies first. It literally says ladies first.
I would say for me, I will always have a love for Discus. That's going to be my number one. I would say Discus. But I always have like 3 in my head at once. And it's like I bounce around with which one is a favorite. But because I love my Mbunas, I love the betas. But
see, I would have thought you would have said betas.
Discus first. No, Discus.
Everybody watching this right now, 572 people, I'm hoping they know me. And they're expecting that I'm going to say arowanas. And I'm not.
I bet it's stingray. Is it stingray?
No. They didn't say, she said, all-time favorite fish, as in one that you'll always have. Like, we're always going to have these.
Oh, Oscar.
It's going to be Oscars. And I'm going to tell you why. Because, as I said, that tank right there, it's not perfectly suited for Oscars, but you can get away with it. Actually, that one. What I'm getting at is, I've learned in my 45 years that you do not know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know what's going to happen 2 weeks from now. I mean, think about it. A month ago, we were all going to McDonald's for dinner, and we were all just...
Dinner? I feed you. You were going for lunch.
For lunch, yeah.
During work.
No, Chick-fil-A. You understand? We were going all over doing whatever we wanted to do, and then all of a sudden, we're all locked down in our houses. You never know what's going to happen. And we live in a generously sized home right now. We got a lot of people that live here. That's why. So we have the space to do what we're doing. But we might not always, I might break my back. I drive for a living. I might get in an accident and break my back, and we have to move into a smaller spot. I'm always going to have room. I don't care if we live in a 1-bedroom efficiency. We're always going to have room.
All these tanks and cats
for a tank that can house Oscars. So, like, naturally, it would be arowanas. but we might not always be in a position to have an 8-foot tank. I would like to think that we will, but you never really know. So, but I think we'll always have the space, even if it had to be in place of a piece of furniture.
Oh, yeah.
We're always going to have an aquarium.
Now, if you had said that to begin with, I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to have to move into a small place like that, we're not going to have kids there. So we don't need we don't need a bunch of furniture, 2 recliners and some fish tanks. That's all we need. We need all these couches and all of this stuff nonsense.
True.
There's no kids there. This just got weird. I'm sorry. 8 new members tonight. That's very exciting. I was telling my boss sitting here across from me that if we got 10 new members every stream, that would be like a whirlwind success as far as I'm concerned. We're almost there. So Paul Smith is one of those 8. Thank you so much for joining the team. There'll be a new video coming out tomorrow, 4 members only, so be looking for that. Vape Cleric, difference between male and female firemouths. I have no idea.
I don't either.
And I'm very sorry that you wasted your $2 on that. You sent it half an hour ago, so you might still be watching. I'm sorry that you sent us money and I'm not able to answer that. A lot of those cichlids.
Back when we had them, I remember, like when we had them in the fish store, I knew. But off the top of my head now, I don't remember.
See, I don't even remember knowing then. I feel like it's similar to a lot of cichlids in that you have to wait for them to get mature and a good size.
Yeah.
Like, some of them, the males are going to be bigger than the females. Some of them, the females are going to be bigger than the males. And that's really when you find out, is when they pair off. Like angels are the same way. I think like very experienced breeders like Dean could probably pick out males and females, and Hans can do that with Discus. But most people would look at Discus or angels and they only know when they're males and females when they pair off. And even when they're paired off, they don't know which one's the male and which one's the females.
I do.
So,
I mean, it's by their tube. I call it a tube. One is wider and one is longer and skinnier. That's how you tell the males and females.
I don't know that applies to firemouths, though. So unfortunately, I can't answer that. And you're a vapor, so I wish I could help you out. But unfortunately, right now, I can't. Steenfot is drooling now. He sent a 99-cent super chat with the drooling emoji, which is a lot of fun. Priscilla MK Art with the $5. Should we do a monster fish black and white art series? You just made my lip whimper there. Ooh, I could see that. Sure. Silver arowana, Oscars, Severums, Stingrays. I could go on and on. Yes, your answer is yes, Priscilla. Absolutely. But of course it would be silver arowana first. Yeah. Steenfot Aquatics, the best big fish is the this jackass.
What?
He just wants me to say it. I don't even know.
I can't see it, so I don't know.
I hope he's watching right now and seeing me go through this. Paramammary glandula
Start from the beginning.
Paramammary. You know what mammaries are, I hope. You've got 2 of them. Glandulocious. This idiot. Boob fish, that's what he's talking about. We call them in the KG Tropicals world, we call them boob fish. That's what we call them.
Wow.
How much money I got to send to get a Pleco plush? Haha, love you guys. You know what? We don't sell them because we don't have our website anymore. We could have our website, but green Pleco, just search green Pleco. A lot of people sell them. I think Super Cichlids sells them. A couple of different places sell them, and they're usually like $15, and there's a bunch of different types. They have big ones now too, so yeah, definitely check them out. Tina Melamed with the $1.99. You can just call Deuce Nukem Tony. All right. I sure hope I remember that, but if I'm being honest, I probably won't. Old Fish Guy, thanks. You too. Stay safe. Thank you for the $5, by the way. Deep fried apple pie in my eye with the $1.99, and I can't see what it says. So let me see if I can scroll up here and find it because it was the last one. Where do baby fish come from? How dare you? How dare you try to go X-rated on this? I'm going to grab something that's right there. So, because I said I was going to tell the story about my new bobblehead.
Oh my gosh. You and your toys.
Okay. I put the camera on just you, so
Oh,
people
well, you
didn't see
didn't
me
tell me
get up
that.
and walk away. Okay, so we got 4 minutes left here. I'm going to tell the story about my newest bobblehead. My newest bobblehead is my smallest bobblehead, and it's this one. And I love this. I was searching for this one for a very, very long time. It's the only bobblehead that I own, I think, that's 2 people in one bobblehead. Yeah, it's the only one that I have. If you're not a baseball fan, you probably don't know who these people are. If you're a baseball fan, you probably know who this guy is, but you don't know who this guy is. So here's the deal. The Nats are on the Masson Network, which is the Mid-Atlantic Sports Network. And this is Dan Kolko. He is one of the on-field interviewer people. And there was a thing in the DC area for quite some time. There was this like fun feud between Kolko and Jason Worth, who is this here, one of my all-time favorite baseball player from the Nationals. Love this guy. Love the interactions that he would have with Dan Kolko. If you look on YouTube, if you search Jason Worth, which he spells it really weird, Jaysonwerth, Dan Kolko, Kolko. There are so many interviews between the two of them that are like on the field after games and stuff like that that are just hilarious. Jason Worth was an absolute character, but this one in particular depicts a game where Jason Worth hit a walk-off home run at the end of the game. And if you're not a baseball fan, that basically means Jason Worth won the game for the Nationals. And Dan Kolko went to him after the game and interviewed him. And this is on YouTube. You can find it. You got to search for it, but you can find it. And Dan Kolko asked Jason Worth, because Jason Worth was like 37 years old when he did this. He said, Jason, everybody has said you're a washed up old man and you can't do it anymore and you just hit a walk-off home run. What do you have to say to those people who say that? And Jason Worth on live TV said, all those people can kiss my ass. And he pointed up to the stands. And that's what this is depicting right here, is him telling everyone to kiss his ass. I was watching that game live when it happened. It was a treat to see that, and to see him do that at the end of the game was absolutely hilarious. And so when I found out that they had a bobblehead of that, I absolutely had to have it. I paid $47 for this little thing. I would have paid $147 for it. That's how much I wanted it. So anyway, there we go. Lots of fun there. I love my stupid little bobbleheads. They're a blast. I didn't miss any, did I? Any super chats here?
Oh, it's Honey.
Oh, nobody can see her.
Hi, Honey.
Yeah, the cat is down here now. So, okay, I think that's it. So, listen, this was fun. I had a
I
good
didn't
time
get
tonight.
to explain who Honey is.
Okay, explain who Honey is. We've got 2 minutes left before Bob Kaler.
Okay, so I feed a lot of stray cats, and I've had a lot of them come and go. Some have been other people's cats I didn't know and fed them. Anyway, whatever. There was one that just kept coming around. So I named her Honey because I would try to get close to her and she wouldn't come, and I'd be like, oh, it's okay, Honey. So it's sort of like a term of endearment. And it was probably about a year and a half ago I first saw her, and she wouldn't come up to me. She would only come up to the porch in the dark to eat. And she started to come around a little bit more often. I could turn the light on. She'd stay on the porch for a second, then run off. You know, I'd always have to take pictures of her on the porch through the window. And if you are, you know, like a follower of my Instagram page, not John's, but mine,
I can see her.
I've posted so many pictures of her. from the very beginning. Anyways, Honey started coming to the house back in, let's see.
Say hi, honey.
I guess about eight months after she started coming, she started bringing kittens with her. And I was like, oh, crap. So where'd she go?
She just ran away.
Oh. So I had to trap the kittens, and I found most of the kittens' homes. One, I did not. I had to take her to the animal shelter, but of course I gave them money to take care of her and everything and keep me informed of her getting adopted. So anyways, long story short, I finally was able to catch Honey, and she is the cat that I had in the bathroom for a very long time without John even knowing. So I kept her in there.
5 bathrooms.
Yeah. So he didn't even know. So anyways, for like 4 months, I had her in the bathroom. And I would bring her, like, one of the bedrooms is attached to the bathroom, so she would go out and, you know, she had space. She wasn't stuck in just the bathroom. Well, I had to get her checked because she had this weird thing going on, swallowing and everything. So I wanted to get her checked for that before I got her fixed, because I didn't know if they put cats to sleep when they fixed them the same way as they put people to sleep. And, you know, you have to have the tube put down your throat and all that. And I didn't want her throat to get messed up if there was something going on. So I took her to the doctors. I took her to the vet. They said it's just a weird quirk of hers, and she would be fine. But she did have some kind of autoimmune disease where she gets these like really puffy paws. So she had to get put on a medication for 6 weeks. So anyways, I finally got her fixed, and she's in my fish room now, and she's recovering from being fixed, and now she's mine forever.
Somebody had I wanted to get to a couple of things real quick here. First, I just wanted to yell at somebody because that's what I do. Somebody said something about, okay, are we ever going to talk about fish? We spent an hour and a half talking about fish. I spend 2 minutes talking about a bobblehead and somebody loses their mind. But anyway, River Life came in with $10 for the Kiss My Ass Fund. Thank you. Everybody can kiss my ass, including the person that asked, when are we going to talk about fish at 10:30? You can, yeah. Anyway.
Well, we do have to move along, though.
Yes, we do.
Bob
You were
Taylor.
telling this long story.
I know, and I feel so bad. I didn't mean to do that to Bob.
Noah Hamilton said, I wonder what John's reaction was when the Nats won the World Series. She could tell you, I stood there like this, yeah. and there were things happening that were liquidy in my eyes.
You peed yourself.
And it just so happened that the pitcher that pitched the final pitch in the World Series, last name was Hudson. She got me his jersey for Christmas, or a shirt for Christmas. Beautiful thing. So yeah, it was a special, special moment to me. And Deuce Newcomb, or Tony, you remind him of his aunt. So there we go. Oh. Thank you, Rack, for the last minute super chat. Thank you all for hanging out with us. And this was a lot of fun. Had a good time.
Definitely go over to Bob Kaler's.
Yep.
And #honey.
There it is. #honey.
Yep.
So, yep, the link is in there. A couple of people have already shared it. Candy just shared it 2 minutes ago. So click on that, go over there, give them the #honey, and that's it.
All right. Have a good night.
We are done for the night. Thank you all so much.